as requested, I'm shooting this video about how I take my notes. And I'm going to try to make it really quick and simple. And I just wanted to point out some things for you. So the first thing is paper. So you have to figure out what paper works better for you. I preferably like color paper. Why? Because I see better on colored paper. So I make my notes on colored paper, and I try to change out the colors, as you can see here, per chapter, so that I know that they're different chapters. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I also like to use copy paper. I like to use copy paper to do review sheets. Lately I've been doing like information on one side, pictures on the other side. For example, here, this was my lab practical review. This is another thing that I do. I print out like papers of stuff, and then I answer the questions underneath. So sometimes I print out diagrams, things of that nature. These are like my planes, etc. And I'll explain like how I also like to do a lot of drawings for myself, and I'll explain like how I do everything. So as you see here, I print out some figures and I attach them, color the stuff that I need, and I put information where it's pertinent, because sometimes you don't want to write out all that stuff when you don't have to. So these are some examples that I'm talking about. So first things first, how I write my notes is I first start with the title above. I usually use squares for main section headings. For example, when I start, this is usually where the introduction information goes, and then I use my subsections. So for example, this was over chapter 1. I didn't like write what, okay, here's a better one. This is chapter 2 over chemistry. I started writing, the main stuff that I thought was important. So matter, and then I wrote what it was, and then I wrote atoms and atomic structures, and then I wrote the information. And then from there, I started adding in stuff. So basically, I'll write the introduction, and then I'll make a subsection. The subsection will have whatever it is for that section. So let's say, for example, we're talking about the digestive system. For the introductory information, I will put the functions and the organs. And the subsection, so let's say we were talking about the GI tract. So any key terms that go, I start with those. I use a yellow highlighter for key terms. And then I start adding key points. I use an orange highlighter for key points to highlight any statement that is really important, or if there's a word in there that has a profound meaning, I will highlight that as well. So then if I move to another subsection, which I'll show you how these are identified in a book when I talk about the A and P section in the next video. And so for example, these are accessory organs, which are different from the main organs. So I put those in 2 different subsections, okay? Same stuff, your key terms highlighted in yellow. Sometimes I'll put a squiggly line, or I'll put a cloud around certain words that are really, really important, or they are identifiers. So if there's a location, I'll use a blue highlighter, or if, say, I'm not studying something anatomical, but I'm studying a different subject, and there's like a really very random note, I will use this. This is like something that's so random you wouldn't even think of it. I will use that. I use a green highlighter for list. So for example, okay, these are things that are near the stomach, and then I made a list. I use the green highlighter to identify those things, because sometimes they have words by them, and so if I want to just quickly identify what those things are, I know to look for the green highlights. Something else that I do, I use Post-its. So this was like a quick, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This was like a quick pathway that she wrote on the board. This is just a random example. This is a quick pathway that she wrote on the board. And at the time, I wasn't prepared for my notes. And so I had my Post-its in class ready. And so I took that pathway down real quick. And I knew I could take this out and put it in my notes or in my book or wherever I chose to. I also use a different color Post-it in case I need to view something like in the book or in a PowerPoint, etc. So I use those. Something else that's important. So these are colors. So I mainly write in black. And I use pink For my notes, so if it's something that I thought of or something that helps me remember something, I write it in pink, and I use purple for my professor. So anything she says, like sometimes she'll ask us a question like which accessory organs do not, which accessory organs come in contact with food, because most of them do not. The answer was tongue and teeth. I wrote it down in purple. Now anything that I needed to make a note of, for example here, I kept confusing muscularis mucosa with muscularis externa, which are not the same thing. I had to write that down for myself to remember. So this is a way that I use to make my own notes. If you also notice here in the pathway, I added in arrows to help me identify the ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid colon. So these are things that I do. As you notice too, I like to draw. I will draw just about anything to help me remember my information. Something else that I wanted to point out was how you make time to study. So sorry there's a mess, but this is how I like to study, guys, and I'm showing you kind of some of my calendar, so sorry for that. But I'm gonna turn the camera. If you look here, right, so these are all my stuff for class. Okay, here I make every day, I give myself something to do. So whether it's printing notes, reading something, whether I did it, if I did it, I check marked it. If I did not, I put an X. So I'm doing things each day. It's not a lot, but it's something each day to keep me going. Also, what I like to do is for my class, I had class on Saturdays, right? So I would, for chapter, so this was chapter 6. I would say I need to read it, I need to make my notes, I need to answer the questions in the back of the book. And then if we had an exam, I would put whatever grade I make. Okay, for lab, same thing. I need to do the pre-lab, I need to read the lab, and then I need to do the recall. And then if I made an exam, whatever quiz grade I made, I'll put that on there. Sorry if you see all my personal business, but I just wanted to show y'all things that I do to help me study. Of course, these are like my things that I use to help me study. It's a lot. I love flare pens to help me with my coloring on my notes. You have to have good pens to write. You definitely need whiteout and, as I said, post-it notes and highlighters. That's pretty much it for the most part on how I take my notes. Again, paper matters. For me, it's colored paper because I see better, which means it helps me understand the concepts better. Same thing for flashcards. They make color paper, they make color flashcards. And then these are my notes. As you see, I try to make things pop out and, you know, kind of stand out for me. Therefore, I know, you know, things that I really need to pay attention to. So this is how I take my notes. And trust me, they are organized. They are organized. So like exam 3, etc. So I try to make it, you know, fun, something I want to look at. Like I would want to read this because it's so exciting. It looks really exciting. But anyways, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to go now because I have to cook dinner. But for those of you who do digital note taking, I now have the Apple Pencil. I've been playing with it. I am going to make a video over how I'm going to use this for AMP2. So please stay tuned because I will get back with you on how I'm doing that. Okay, guys, I hope this helped. Let me know if I missed something. Let me know if I need to add something. I hope this helped you, and good luck. Bye-bye.